there are so many unknowns. You just mentioned in your report that the House of Commons once again is attempting to rule out a no-deal Brexit. Jeremy Corbyn has his own ideas about what kind of Brexit he wants, but the fact remains that it is not in the power of the House of Commons to determine it. The EU would need to grant a long extension for the UK to pursue these strategies, and that is far from clear whether that extension will be forthcoming. You had also Angela Merkel cited there, who seems to be willing to grant it, but she will need to persuade Macron in France that is in the EU's interest. And I remain skeptical about that strategy. It will cause so much mess for the EU and the UK. It will prolong the agony. To think of the European parliamentary elections in which the UK is taking part, I think that's one of the nightmares that the EU needs to contemplate now.
Stefan, unpack that nightmare for us. We do have those European elections coming into view. So how do you see this situation complicating the outlook for the elections?
Well, what we are seeing is the kind of populist rebellion against the EU. So President Macron, for example, already has framed the elections as between the forces that are pro-European and the populist ones opposing the Europe that we have. And when you think that their arguments would be greatly boosted by them pointing out that the UK and the fact that the UK is basically not allowed to leave, it would boost the arguments of people who claim that the EU has taken an authoritarian turn already with you know, the Eurozone crisis and the way it treated Greece. The EU, at its heart, is a voluntary association of nation states. And the credibility of that claim, that it is a voluntary association of nation states, would be greatly diminished if the perception is created that the UK somehow is not allowed to leave. So it would not only create political mess in the UK when to see the kind of election campaign, you know, over European elections that were not meant to be happening, it would also have massive political repercussions in continental Europe. So I think that the leaders in the EU, when meeting next week, will be wary of that prospect. But they are equally wary of a no-deal Brexit. But no-deal Brexit is still possible. It still remains a default position if there is no agreement forthcoming from London and no solution to the current impasse.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.